week, the weekly word is change. I'm not talking about the change in your pocket, but rather the concept of new direction, of environmental shift. I think that we have to recognize the fact that change is inevitable. We have to accept that this change that occurs in our lives and our environment is something that, if we view it as inevitable, that's our first step in the right direction. It's going to happen, and we have to realize that we can only affect what we can affect, meaning that change is going to happen, but sometimes you can't affect the way it happens, but sometimes you can't affect the way that it happens. And as a result of this whole idea of affect what you can affect and realize and respect that change is inevitable, doing this is not easy. I know it's not easy. Generally, we as humans, we just don't like change. And some people say that change is good, and some people say that change is not good. Some say that change is bad. Some have opinions about some change is good, some is bad. Rather than debate whether or not change is good or change is bad, I think that we should focus our energy on the knowledge that some of the change that occurs is something that is happening for a reason, and that a change can be happiness, it can be a change of sadness. When it comes down to it, we have to first seek to be aware that the change that is occurring and admit that. And then we have to accept, not deny, that the change has occurred. We have to accept it, or we're not going to be able to move forward. We're going to find our thoughts bestowed deeply inside of the idea that the change didn't happen or that you can prevent it from happening. You have to embrace it. Now, some things occur and it's seasonal. Yeah, fall goes to winter, winter goes to spring, and spring goes to summer. And that is what it is. We can't really change that. But some change that occurs is life altering. And of course, this falls very close to home now as I think about the changes that have happened in our lives. And I think about my wife, and I think about that for 14 years since Briley was born, Lori was home with one of the kids, or out and about with one of the kids. And so for the first time this week, Lori found herself home alone. In the home, by herself, alone. First time in 14 years. How does she handle the change? How does she move forward? How do I help her move forward? How do we help others move forward when they have such life-altering change that happens? You know, for 4 years, she gave Ainsley treatment twice a day, sometimes 4 times a day. That's 3,000 times in 4 years. Imagine if you did something 3,000 times for 4 years, and then suddenly you don't do it anymore. The only way I can think to handle this is, again, to first be aware that change is going to occur, and when it does happen, accept that it has happened, and then move forward. Again, you have to embrace it. It is not easy. I saw a news report today that out at SeaWorld, apparently there's new directions as they've decided that the killer whale population is going to be phased out, meaning that they're not going to go get any more from the wild, which they haven't for some years, but they're also going to stop captive breeding. And I thought to myself, this is a significant move. This is a huge change for SeaWorld. But what was most exciting about it is the gentleman from the Humane Society was on TV with the CEO of SeaWorld. And together they admitted that we used to be adversaries, but today we're standing together, we're partnering, and we're embracing the idea that together we can change and we can accept change and we can affect what we can affect to make the change a better thing. That might be a huge reach, SeaWorld, compared to losing a loved one. But ultimately, the lesson is still the same. Seek first to be aware of the change, then move forward to accept, not deny the change. Erosion's going to happen. There are some things we can do to slow it down, but it's going to happen. We're going to have daylight savings time. The sun is going to set. The sun is going to rise. There are things about daylight savings time we can affect, but the fact that the sun rises and sets, we can't affect. So man came up with this idea that we can extend our day by having something in place called daylight savings time. Some countries have refused to adopt that. Ultimately, some things work for some thing works for other, and at the end of the day, some change can be good, some change can be bad. You have got to move forward by seeking to be aware of the change, then proceed and embrace it. With that said, I'm concluding this weekly word. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to have some change here at our house tonight. The family of me and Ainsley and Lori and Camden and Briley, we did not get a chance to go out to eat as a family for quite some time. Tonight, we're going to embrace change for the good that it can be, and our family of 4 is going to go out to dinner. Happy St. Patty's Day to all of you. I hope that you can embrace and accept the changes that occur in your life, and that together we can affect what we can affect, but we have to be acknowledging that change happens. Have a great week.